Hey there guys, how are you? And welcome back to the channel. Well, as most of you are aware by this point, I love me some good, claustrophobic, scary movies. And thank you so much for clicking on this video because I have been dying to discuss with you all whether or not this movie is worth a rental. Oh, come on, you're not even gonna let me have that one? Whatever, man. Alright, so The Rental is the newest IFC horror film directed by Dave Franco in his directorial debut, and it stars Dan Stevens, Alison, Brie, Sheila and Jeremy Allen White, a very solid cast. And this movie follows two couples who book an oceanside getaway to a beautiful, secluded cliffside home. Key side note that Sheila Van's character Mina tried to book this place once and she was declined, but Dan Stevens' character Charlie books it shortly afterwards and he's accepted. But once these four get to the house, they start to grow suspicious that the host of their seemingly perfect rental home, Taylor, played by Toby Huss, may be spying on them. And soon enough, what should have been a celebratory weekend getaway turns into something far more complicated, as some secrets are exposed and these four start to become more at odds with one another. So the first thing I'll praise about this movie is the location. As I mentioned, I really love me some good claustrophobic scary movies, and this film all takes place pretty much in the same spot. And it definitely gives me that really creepy, uneasy feeling of being just trapped in one spot. And these beautiful, beautiful cliffside beaches just makes for the perfect red herring of what's to come. And I also gotta say, this is a very strong directing job from Dave Franco in his debut behind the camera. And I kind of find it funny that his older brother James's directorial debut was The Disaster Artist, which was another film that I loved. But clearly, The Disaster Artist is a very different film from this one. That was more of an endearing comedy, and Dave decides to try his hand at the psychological drama thriller scary film. And I definitely think Franco proves more than capable behind the camera. Most of the shots that he's able to achieve I think look very cool. And there were a couple of times where they were shooting during the night where unfortunately it was hard to make out what I was looking at, but I'm willing to give that a pass because mostly that's due to the foggy terrain of where these characters were. And speaking of the characters, I thought all the acting in this film was superb. Dan Stevens is someone I've always found supremely underrated, and I think he's very good in this movie as Charlie with the material he's given. And Alison Brie, who's married to Dave Franco in real life, very, very strong emotional presence here, very, very great range. Now, Sheila Van and Jeremy Allen White play the other couple. And I'll be honest, I've never seen these actors work before, but from what I've seen from them, they were really, really great. And I bought all the relationships that these characters had. I bought the given circumstances. I bought that Charlie and Josh, Jeremy Allen White's character, were brothers. And I thought these actors all had really, really great chemistry together. Really, really strong. But the characters in this film are where my issues start to arise. Without spoiling anything to you guys, of course, there is an event that occurs around the halfway point of this movie. And this really sends these characters' relationships for a loop and really makes everything topsy-turvy. And don't get me wrong, I get why this event is there, but to me, it just felt a little bit forced. And it felt forced because I'm still trying to really understand the characters' motivations for doing said event. And not only that, but there's a couple of other sequences in this film, especially getting more towards the end, where their actions just didn't really make sense. In the sense of like these characters would not pull that off. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. I mean, I get why it's there, but it's just something I couldn't help but notice. And speaking of unwarranted, that brings me to what is perhaps my main issue with The Rental. It feels like two completely different movies. Therefore, the tone feels very inconsistent. I will say the first and second act, great. It felt a lot more like a psychological drama more than a scary movie, which is something I really appreciated. The horror movies that I like, and this is, again, purely subjective, despite the nonsensical motivations that these characters had, I could see all this stuff happening in real life. But especially once you get towards the end of this movie and towards the climax, it starts turning into this big slasher Halloween-esque type movie, and it didn't really fit tonally with everything else. Don't get me wrong, I really like the slasher stuff, but it just felt very abrupt and very obligatory to me. I mean, it's almost like the screenwriters were looking at it like, oh, this is a scary movie. We need, like, blood and gore and all that that stuff, so they just wrote in the last 15 minutes. I don't know, just with everything else that just fit within this 90-minute runtime, the slasher stuff just didn't exactly fit. But all in all, I'm gonna give The Rental a B-. I think this is a perfectly fine way to spend 90 minutes. It's a very easy film to sit through. All the performances I think are very good, and Dave Franco's direction is really, really great for a debut. I can't wait to see what else he does. Side note, he's gonna be appearing as Vanilla Ice in a biopic, which is really, really spot on casting if I say so myself. But this movie just had a few too many things that were a little nonsensical in terms of character motivation and tone shifts. But I'm not gonna make the pun again. This is definitely worth a watch at least once. It's on VOD right now. But I'd like to know what you guys think. If you guys have already seen The Rental at this point, or if you're going to watch it, if you're excited, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And thank you guys so much, as always, for watching the video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you like what you're seeing from me. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can on your way out. You guys are seriously the greatest. Thank you all so much for all your support of the channel so far. It means the world to me. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And with all that being said, back talk commence.